Hey folks, this is Dreadhammer of Facta Non Verba here to talk to you today about some Mythics, Mythic Pluses, and the future of the affixes with 8.3. So this video is being made 1 week out from the 8.3 patch, and really the only things that are going to be changing is that the eye levels of many of the chest items will be getting a 30 level boost. In addition to one of the affixes at the Mythic 10 and up will be removed and replaced with a new one. However, the other affixes we can definitely dive into since they are still relevant and help educate the team on what those affixes are, some strategies behind them, and just further scare you into submission what some of those combinations of affixes look like and just what we can expect moving forward. So without further ado, for those of you who have not run Mythics, the Mythic dungeons are one step above the Heroics. So in your order, it would typically go your normals to your Heroics to your Mythic Zeros, to your Mythic 2s, 3s, all the way up to your 10s, and ultimately you could get up to your Mythic 20s. However, there are very few guilds that can complete that. So right now, the sweet spot for getting a weekly reward chest of a 440 chest item and a 440 piece of loot inside of the instance is to complete a Mythic 10 once per week. Now that used to yield 17,900 Titan Residuum, which you would be able to use Titan Residuum to purchase high-end gear, but with patch 8.3 coming around, there is going to be a worldwide Titan Residuum reset. So if you've been stockpiling your Titan Residuum in hopes of when Season 4 Mythics come online, you can take that Residuum and go buy all the new 475 gear, you are sadly mistaken. All of your Titan Residuum will be converted at the rate of 1 silver piece per Residuum. Doesn't seem like a lot, but it is to keep things fair and to also keep a lot of those guilds that are fully capable of running the high-end Mythics from kind of cornering the market, if you will, of having the best gear come day one of patch 8.3. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of these Mythics here, some of the affixes. This is going to be a multi-part video, so I do invite you to sit back, relax, prepare to get terrified as to what you are walking into and help prepare you for some of these Mythics with your guild. So every week the affixes do reset, and there are 4 tiers. If you want to check out what affixes are currently in place for your week, you would just go down to your group finder here, and towards your bottom tabs you're going to hit your Mythic Keystone. By default it comes up as Dungeons and Raids. Just go over to Mythic Keystone. Now this is your current season best down here. This is all going to be completely moot come patch 8.3 as gear scores, IO scores, scores in general are going to be completely reset. However, it does tell you this week what the affixes are and how these are going to work. The first affix is going to be known as your level 2, your second affix will be known as your level 4, your third affix as your level 7, and your fourth affix as level 10. What that means is that a Mythic 0 does not have any of these affixes. Mythic 0s are still considerably harder than Heroics, but you do not have to contend with affixes in them. A Tier 2 affix, at a very minimum, is going to be applied on any Mythic 2 or Mythic 3 run. A Tier 4 will be applied on any Mythic 4, 5, or 6 run, in addition to the previous affix here. So you're going to, on a Mythic 4 run as an example, you would have your Tier 4 and your Tier 2 affix. Your third tier right here is going to be known as your 7. So what this means is that any Mythic 7, 8, or 9 is going to contain this tier, and this tier. So now you've got your 2, 4, and your 7, anything as a 7, 8, or 9. Again, with you going into the 10 and with 8.3 coming out, some of these are going to be removed and replaced, but we're just doing this as an example, showing you what you can expect moving forward with the other 3 tiers. So in this case, for this week, we do have something called Fortified, something Sanguine, Grievous, and the Beguiling right there. So if I was just to go run Mythic 2s, I would really only be contending with the Fortified here. Mythic 4s, 5s, or 6s, the Sanguine, 7s, 8s, or 9 Grievous, and 10 or higher, I would be running with this 4th tier affix. So what exactly are these affixes? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to cover that in another video, but I do want to discuss how the loot works. Whenever you run a mythic, it doesn't matter if you run 10 2s, 10 4s, 10 5s, 110, whatever variation that it is, you are granted a weekly loot chest in the Harbor Master's office. So during the Tuesday reset, when the affixes come back out and all of the resets and things have activated, whatever your highest level mythic is, you will have a chest equivalent to that mythic worth of loot waiting for you. So as an example, the sweet spot right now is having a mythic 10 completed every week, because it does yield a minimum of a 440 eye level item, it does yield a lot of Azurite power, and it yields 17,900 residuum. Now, for those of you who do not know, Titan Residuum is used as the currency to purchase some high eye level items such as your headpiece, shoulders, and your chest piece. However, as soon as patch 8.3 comes live, there is going to be a Titan Residuum reset at the conversion rate of 1 silver per Titan Residuum. This is just to keep things fair, folks. This is to ensure that high-powered guilds, raiding guilds, and the like do not have the upper hand of being able to just day 1 8.3 go and grab some of the most powerful gear in the game and kind of corner the market and grief some of those pugs that are out there. Everyone will be on a level playing field with their gear scores. Everyone will be on a level playing field with the gear that they currently have and their residuum counts. So as an example, what's been given to me on the public test realms, a level 2 mythic could yield 435 loot inside of that mythic. Normal instances should be dropping level 400 items, and heroics should be dropping 415s. That's actually really good if you think about it. But your weekly chest for a mythic 2 should now be a 440. So if your highest mythic you completed was a 2, you would actually see a chest here, and it would have the number 2 inside of it. And then on your reset for Tuesday, you would go into the Harbor Master's office, where the chest is no longer gray, it has turned of a gold color. You would open it up and get your mythic 2 rewards. But again, folks, those rewards do not stack, and you only get credit for the highest level mythic completed. So if you did 10 level 2s and then you were to happen to go do a level 5, you may be getting a 450 item instead, because you have completed a level 5, and it's just a sliding table of the better the risk, the greater the risk, the better the reward that you're getting at the end of the week. So that part will not change. The only thing that is complicated when it comes to running the differences between the 2s and the 5s is, instead of having to contend with one of the affixes at the tier 2 level, you're now contending with 2. And if you're trying to get to that sweet spot of a mythic 10, you would now be contending with all 4 affixes, which rotate themselves out each week. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a pause. When we come back, we're going to go over all of the affixes in their respective tiers in each independent video, as some of these have more explanation than others. But I do invite you to enjoy the set, and we'll be back shortly.